Yvonne here for Semilla, transformando desde la raíz, seed, transforming ourselves from the root. I wanted to share this with you because it's beautiful, of course, but because I just want to remind all of us that we can experience beautiful connections and beautiful groups and beautiful friendships. And right now I'm in a big rock. A morning hike. Last night I had a beautiful camping night with my friends, connected, we enjoyed nature. This is something so important, not only because people are beautiful, but because there was a moment in my life not too long ago where I felt absolutely isolated. My entire perception of life and of the world was that it was impossible to have friends and impossible to belong, and it was so difficult to connect with anyone at a deep level. And I felt lonely and I felt sad. I know that a lot of people experience this, especially where we are in this constant hustle and bustle. We have to go to work and we have to wake up early and we have to pay the bills. We're so busy that our perception of what life is becomes so small. I believed this story that I was telling myself for so long. I started carrying this narrative, this story, as the truth. And since that was my truth, that was what I experienced. That was my experience of my life every single day. And then I started becoming this person that couldn't see beyond that. And then something happened in my life, made me step out of my comfort zone, which was my narrative that it was so difficult to connect. And what happened, it was a breakup, and without getting into much detail here, maybe one day, it was devastating for my heart and for my brain. My mind just couldn't understand because I had the one connection, and it was so attached to that one connection that suddenly it was, oh, now I am completely alone. This is it. I fell into this deep hole of loneliness, and I kept on subscribing to that idea that it would be impossible to connect. And then there was a moment when I started questioning that narrative. Is it true? I cannot believe that I'm completely alone, because what I am seeing, what I'm looking at is groups of people everywhere. Why can't I belong there? There's something wrong with me. And I believed it also. And the problem and the beauty of believing something is that we create reality from that belief. I didn't understand that as well as I understand it now. And I am now sure that I need to understand it better. But back then, I didn't understand anything. The more I believed that story, the more I embodied it. I could see people everywhere around me doing fantastic things, and I was not able to belong there because I was the weird one, because I was difficult to connect with, because I had nothing interesting to share, because I wasn't friendly enough or cute enough or interesting enough or whatever enough. Then one other day, my mom was here and I was watching people and I was crying. Why can't I just be part of a group? What's wrong with me? Why can't I connect? And my mom told me, switch. And I was like, what do you mean switch? Yeah, and she was just like, switch. Like, just switch. Every time you feel sad, every time you feel like you don't connect, just switch. And I'm like, Mom, you don't understand anything about psychology. You don't understand my sadness. You don't understand how bad I feel. You don't understand how lonely I feel. And she was just like, switch. Like, every time you're doing that, just switch. Think of something else. Oh, what does she mean, think of something else? She said this often, and she was very, very insisting on like, switch, 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 switch. In Spanish, she would say switchete. So switch, switch. One day, I'm like, okay, what happens if I go and say hi? Because I believed at that moment, no one would say hi to me. And I was like, what if this time I'm the one that says hi? And I started saying hi to people. And turns out, most of the people said hi, bye. I don't know how to react to that. That changed everything. It was the one word. I had to say hi. And then from that hi, I was like, how are you? It was so basic that it felt stupid, because what's more basic than saying hello, right? But to me, it was just so heavy that people wouldn't say hi to me. But I was like, why would people say hi to you if you're not saying hi? Okay, maybe I'm the one who needs to say hi. And when I realized that, I was like, oh, maybe I am the one who is not saying hi. Maybe I am the one who is actually lonely because I'm choosing to be lonely. Maybe I am the one who doesn't want to make friends and who doesn't want to connect, not because I don't desire it, but because I believe that I cannot. And I was like, I've been believing for this whole time that I can't make friends, but where's the evidence? I was just only able to find it in my own interactions with the world. I would just go into a place, do my thing and leave, and then go to the other place and do my thing and leave. And I wouldn't stay to connect. I wouldn't ask questions. I wouldn't say hi. I wouldn't engage. I was just in my belief that this is so hard. I made it really hard. And one day I was just watching this volleyball, and my mom, she was here with me, God bless her. She was like, go in, they're missing one person. And I was like, no mom, they know that, go in. And she pushed me. She pushed me into the court. And I'm telling you guys, this was like, what, maybe 3 years ago. So I was already 30 something, maybe 35. Like, she literally pushed me into the playground. And to my disbelief, people were like, yeah, sure, come in, right away. So I went like, hi, and I started playing. And that second, that little push, that shift, changed my entire life. To this day, a lot of the people that I played with, some of the closest people I have, I adore them and I am so grateful for them. That little push that day changed because I understood that the second I changed my belief that I was going to be rejected versus the idea and the belief that I was actually capable, that I could connect with people, what changed was not the environment. What changed was how I was relating to the environment, relating to other people and to myself. And I understood something big that, shift. My mom was telling me shift. And of course, I need to shift from believing that I cannot to believing that I can. Because the one thing that shift did was it allowed me to actually take the step, to allow myself to experience, to see if people would be willing to welcome me in or not. And sometimes people might say no, but a lot of the times people might say yes. And that would not have happened without me shifting into a what if yes, what if I can, what if I actually am able to, what if I stop believing this place isn't friendly, difficult, whatever you believe, what if I question that belief and shift it for a second, what if I choose for that 1 second that things could be different. Turns out they can be completely different because things are as we experience them. Things are how we perceive them. We are what we believe we are. And that belief we can change. We need to dare to ask the little question. We need to dare to ask, what is it that I'm believing about myself right now that it's making me act in which way? And one simple way of doing it is connecting with how you feel without judgment. Like, I am experiencing loneliness, and when you experience something, it's because we're looking at it with certain filter. We're looking at it with a very specific narrative and perspective. What is the antidote? Loneliness. What do you need? What would fix loneliness? Well, companionship, friendship, connection. Okay, where is connection around you? If there's more people connecting, if you can see more people connecting, it means that connection is a possibility. How do I get it? Well, the first thing that I need to believe is that I can. Once I shift that belief, it enables me to take a different action. Instead of watching from the side, I'm like, hey, can I join? And some people might say yes. A lot of people might say yes because most people want to connect. I was like, why not? Why is it so difficult? And I was like, this is why. Because I'm thinking it's difficult all the time. If I'm thinking it's difficult all the time, then it's going to be difficult. But the second I allow things to be, I allow myself to also imagine that it could be possible to me, I also allow my body to relax into accepting. That also makes me more approachable. That also invites me to say hi to other people. And gratitude plays a big role here. I am so grateful for every single one of the people that I interact with, regardless of the type of interaction, because it's like you are acknowledging me as a human being. You see me and I see you. That means that we are here, we are present. No one is alone. No one is alone. We all have people in our lives. And the second that I also started seeing that, I was like, no one is alone here. We're surrounded by people. We just need to connect. I'm craving connection. Maybe that person wants it too. Maybe not as bad as I do. Maybe worse than I do. But we are all surrounded by connection. So I started saying hi. And people started saying hi back. And I started doing the thing which I love, connecting with people. And I was like, why do I not do this more? I love people. I really, really love people. What if I actually ask them their name and say hi? So I started doing that again because I knew that something in me did it in the past. I stopped doing it for whatever reason, and I believed it was not possible anymore. And then when I reconnected with that, I was like, that actually already exists in my body. The availability for connection already exists in me. And that is a belief that I also shifted. I was like, from no one wants to connect to most people want to connect. And it is true. And then maybe 1, 2, 3 years later, I'm sitting here on the rock and my friends are somewhere down there. And I feel so confident that they are there and I love them and they love me, and I can go and connect and meet new people, and we can all just keep on connecting because now I see it. Now I see the possibility. Possibilities are always there to every single side of the story. The possibility of connecting or disconnecting. And the one thing that we need to do is shift from one state to the other one, even if it's for a little moment. The more we practice the emotion, the more we believe it, the more we embody it, the more it becomes part of who we are. And that happens to everything. The more you practice, you're lonely, you're lonely, you're lonely, you're lonely. You become lonely. And the more you practice, maybe I'm not, then maybe you are not a little bit more. And then it starts bridging one thing to the other one. We can experience what we want if we're willing to remember that we can, if we're willing to remind ourselves that we are in control of what happens here. And what happens here is how we see all of this. And how we see all of this changes how we experience it. This beautiful place here could be the saddest place in the world if I were the saddest person in the world in that moment. Everything comes from the mind, how we perceive things. And we have the power of shifting our perspective, our perception, our filter with which we observe life. My experience in this present moment, I can change. And I'm like, oh, Mom, you're so wise. Shift, okay. So if you want to experience something, best way to do it is to shift your mind to remind yourself that you can. How? You don't need to know how just yet. You just need to remember that yes, you can, and then you'll find a way. It'll come, but for now, the only thing that you need to remember is that you can. If I can be up here, if I can have these beautiful people in my life, if I can experience joy in this way, believe me, you can. So give it a go. Do as my mom says. Shift, 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 and enjoy. Thanks for watching.